All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you that are new here, my name is Michelle Adamas, and the name of my company is Vintage Revival Design Co. And I'm in Northern Virginia. And for those of you that are returning, thank you so much. If you do pop on, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I would really appreciate that. So today we are going to be making over a pumpkin. And I thought I love to decoupage the pumpkins. There's so many ways that you can do them. And we've decoupaged pumpkins in the past, but we're going to do a little bit of a different technique. So in the past, I've done these with glass speed gel. We're going to try something a little different today. So this is just a plastic pumpkin. And I really love that I was able to find these white ones last year because I don't have to paint them first. I don't have to paint over the orange to be able to decoupage. They're already prepared for me. So in addition to my pumpkin, I have some water. Let me pull up my thing. Oh, one more thing. I do not have the lights on. And so if this is too dark, feel free to say so. Say that you can't see well, and I'll turn them on. They just get a little hot, and I'm already hot. So if it's okay with you, we're going to just work with this lighting. But if it's a problem for you to see, let me know. Hello, Shannon. How are you? Thank you so much for joining and for saying hello. So let me pull up this, and I'm going to show you what we are doing. Okay, good, Shannon. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. So here's what we're going to be using today. And I'll post the products and everything again when I share the finished project. So we've got our pumpkin, and I'm going to be using Posh Chalk's Pigment Infuser as my decoupage medium. I have a couple of colors of metallic acrylic paint, and we're going to be using some fiber paste, and I may be using the diamond glaze. You know, I love it, y'all. I love it. And so we may be using that. I don't know. I'm going to see what it looks like afterwards. And we're going to be using this beautiful decoupage paper by Roycycled Treasures. This is the copper paper. Another paper that I like for this particular look is the textures paper. So on this one, we've got, you can get like where it's mostly copper, and then you can also get another side of the paper, which is this beautiful blue patina. And I think I'm going to start with the blue patina. I think let's do blue patina on this one, and then I'll use this, the copper, to do another one that will coordinate with it. Hello, I can't speak. Hi, Sandy. Thank you so much for joining. So I am going to start by wet cutting strips of this paper. And wet cutting is so easy for this type of thing because all we're going to do is just use a little brush and some water, and we're going to just make some strips. I need about 10 strips. I am having, let's see, I need one that's got a little more water in it. So I'm going to use this. I think my water is going to dry before I ever get anything done. So to do this, you're just going to wet, and then it's going to tear. If you have enough water on there, it's going to tear just along that water line. So I really love this technique. I don't know why I'm having an issue. There we go. I didn't have enough water. So I'm just going to cut several strips of this with this wet method. And then we are going to decoupage these on. What I love about this technique of using the strips is that you just get so much variation in the look. You know, so the paper is going to be applied in different places, and no two pumpkins are going to turn out exactly alike. And I like that a lot. I think that's really fun. So somehow my water is giving me a little fit. So I'm going to go on the back side and see if that doesn't help a little bit. That helps a lot more. So I'm going to go on the back side. There's just maybe a little coating on this tissue that is preventing that. So if you have any difficulty seeing, let me know. And we're going to go from there. So I'm just going to cut a couple of more because this is going to give me enough to work with. And then I can, you know, use this sheet for any little pieces that I might need to fill in. So every year I think about the different, what is my fall color scheme going to be? And I have done the copper before, and they seem to be pretty popular. And so I think because they're just different and they still have a little of that fall color, but they're, a little more unique and different. So let's just get started with this first. I'm going to put that there, and I may need to, I'm going to cut these a little bit down. We're going to cut some in half, and I'm going to go even a little bit more. So they don't have to be the same size. They can be taller, shorter, whatever you need. Okay. But the idea is that we're just going to apply our strips to our pumpkin. So before I get started, one of the things I like to do is just to pull out this little stem, and we'll paint this up and then add it. But it just makes it a little easier to make sure that I'm getting everywhere I want to go. So to start, I'm going to just apply my decoupage medium on here, and then I'm going to lay a strip of paper. I'm going to tear that a little bit so I don't have any edges like this. I just start anywhere, and then I use my brush. I don't even mind if I have a little bit of wrinkle or anything like that. So let me know what your favorite fall colors are. Do you lean more towards neutral? Do you like white, that kind of thing? Or are you the orange? What are your favorite fall colors to decorate with? Let me know. Everybody is a little bit different. So I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to go all the way underneath as well. Just like this. And we're going to keep going. And so the strips aren't going to match at all. I'm just going to tear off this little section here, and we're going to get our medium on. So many things you can do with pumpkins, right? But let me know what you really enjoy, what your colors are. I go back and forth. I do like a little of the traditional fall color, but I also like a little neutrals, a few neutrals thrown in there for a little bit of a break in that. So I'm going to lay that. I like that it's got the little ribs. So that's really helpful. So I'm just going to cut another strip. Easy peasy. Like this. And we'll go lengthwise here. So I think my medium is still wet, but we'll see. So it's not lining up. I'm getting something a little different depending on where I place it. You can do tiny strips, or you can do these long ones, brown and copper. That's such a beautiful combination, Sandy. I love that. All right, I'm going to just take this off here. Okay. I'm going with longer strips today just so that we can finish our project today. All right. And I've got a fan going, so if that's too loud, let me know. And we'll do something with that. I'm not even going to worry about these little white spots. Instead, I'm going to address those with the fiber paste and the metallic. So I'm not going to worry about that. If I have like a huge gaping area, I'll probably address it. But if not, I'm just going to leave it, and I'll address it with the fiber paste. I have several of these white pumpkins, and so I've got like in little sets. And so I'm going to do some that are decoupage, some that are inlaid, some that are, gilded, some that are molded, like, all the things. So I'll have different sets to work with. I think I've got this one little piece that fell off, so I'll just address that and pop that in there. So again, I want to do this. I find it really helpful to be able to go just to take that little stem off when you're working with these. The wrinkles on something like this, by the time we're done with it, it really, to me, just adds to the texture. So I really just don't even worry about that. It's nice to have a project like this where you don't feel that you have to be, so careful. Like I'm not holding my breath, worrying about wrinkles or anything like that. I'm just getting that paper on. So applying my medium. And we're doing that. Okay. I also want to say thank you to everyone, if you're watching on replay, for joining me in the Creative Course Collab. Thank you so much. It opened today, and I'm so excited for those of you that signed up to be able to enjoy those tutorials from myself and 8 other artists. So thank you very much. All right, I'm going to just rip here, and then we're going to go here. All right. And so I think I've got enough here. Takes a little bit, but it's not too bad. Have you decoupaged pumpkins before, Sandy or Shannon? I would imagine that you have. So I really want to get some more of the blues added in here. So I'm going to start to work with that a little bit. And this is torn. Let me get this. And we're going to, so I'm working as quickly as I can. This has got a straight edge on one side, so I kind of want to avoid that. I don't like the straight edges at all. And then I could always add a little turquoise paint if I wanted to, something like that. That would be really pretty on this. Maybe we'll do a couple of different colors of texture on here. But what we're getting is just, it is just getting it covered with the copper paper. And so you can see it's starting to, it's just got a lot of variation in it. You can't remember if you've done that. I would be so surprised if you haven't, Shannon. I would be so surprised. Oops, I went with the wrong thing. I wanted to get a brush for water. So I'll use this one. Just want to take that edge off a little bit. Hold on 1 second. We're going to get this. Just want to tear off that little bit of, I'm going to go really way too much over here. So I'm just going to pull some away just so I don't have that straight edge. It makes such a difference to just have those torn edges, and they're easy to do with the water. That was a big gap that I want to make sure that I have addressed. So I'm just going to fill that in. And we're almost done. We're halfway done. I'm just going to work with the ones that I want to get a little bit more blue. And so we're going to do a little tearing here, just like this. Yeah, I love this paper, Shannon. And I don't know if you were here when I mentioned, but another one that I love for this is the textures paper. I believe it's retired now, but if you have any in your stash, or I have some, or but that's another one that I like. That one, you get a little bit more of the blue and the brighter orange, and you've got some bright yellow. And that's a really pretty one for this too. It gives kind of that same effect. All right. Which is just a really you know, it just, you can do this with the same paper, but like I said, no two pumpkins are going to turn out exactly alike. I still want to get a little more blue in here. None are going to be the same. Just strip, 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 strip. I'm going as fast as I can, you guys. Okay, let's do this. So I really want to know, what have you purchased for Prime Days? If you want to share, I'd really, really love to know. I shockingly bought another roll of this silicone, and I bought some more resin because it was on sale. I saw that around like midnight last night, and that it was on sale. But that was it. For my house, I bought a new thing for the bathroom, and a little organizer for under the kitchen sink. So that's what I bought. What did you buy? Oh, resin. So I'm using this Let's resin. It's the polyurethane resin, Shannon. And so it's on sale right now. And I kind of think it's a better value than the resin that I used to use that was Quickset. So it's Let's Resin polyurethane resin. And yes, I have a link, but I don't need it. I mean, I just go get it. I like using it. I really like using it. I did my my Thanksgiving charger and napkin ring with that, and really am enjoying it. And it comes in, I think it's the 32 ounce, so it's more of a quart size. And I think it's a good value. So anyway, see if you like it too. It is white, and but it does set up in 10 minutes. So that's what I needed. I use different resins for different things. So it just depends really on what I'm working on. That will decide, am I going to use the clear resin? Am I going to use the Quickset? Do I need something that takes a little while longer? It just depends on the project that I'm doing and how much working time I really need to, to work with them. Okay, we're going to come here, do a little under here, get this in place. Just a couple more strips, you guys. Well, maybe not a little more than a couple, but not too many more. But does anybody want to share what they bought on Prime Days? Don't want to tell? Not sure? Okay. That's okay. You don't have to tell me. All right. 1 year though, you guys, I was so excited. You're going to think I'm ridiculous. I was so excited. They, a couple years ago, they had an Instapot for like an incredible deal on Prime Days. And I bought one, and I was so excited to use that thing. I saved all kinds of recipes for it and all of that. And if you have one and you love it or you use it, let me know. But when I read the directions on it, when it came, all of a sudden I was terrified of it. So I was too afraid to use it. So that was something. So that's maybe some other day, but for now I just stick to the crock pot and things like that. But when you read the directions and like all the dangers that could happen by using an Instapot, I was like, no way, I'm not doing it. I thought for sure I was gonna cause a problem. So anyway, do you use an Instapot? Das Clay, yep. Oh, good. A shipping label. I like the Das Clay, Shannon. I like that a lot, actually. They even have one that is, Das Clay has one in the oh gosh, it's like a stone color. And that was really pretty to work with. So I typically will just use like the white, but I really liked that stone color too. I thought that was really beautiful. All right, I want something with a little more blue. So I'm going to, let's see, I want some with a little more blue. So let me just wet cut over here. Get some strips going. Okay. Over here off to the side, getting these, just want to get some blue. I seem to have a lot more of the copper in there instead of the blue. And I love the blue patina so much on this paper. Yes. Okay. You know what, Sandy? Thank you for admitting that. Thank you so much. I was terrified of it. Terrified. I was, everybody was taught, it was just like all the rage, but I didn't really, until I got out the instruction booklet, because I was all excited to, I think the first thing I was going to cook was a frozen chicken and have it be ready, like in 20 minutes. And then I saw, and I was like, no, nobody needs a chicken that fast. Or at least I don't. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm missing out a little bit. But because I love my crock pot, because I can just make something, put whatever it is. We've got a couple of recipes that my family really, really loves. And but I was just, yeah. So I just use my crock pot. That's what I use. All right, let's get a little of this in here. And then we're going to dry this up a little bit and then go to our texture paste. Actually, it will be pretty dry by the time I mix up the fiber paste and the acrylic paint. So we'll see if this is dry enough for that. This medium doesn't take too long to dry. So I like that. Yeah, try the stone if you get a chance. So, and see if you like it, Shannon, and let me know if you do. I would love to know. I just thought it was fun. It was just a different look, right? All right, I'm going to do this one here, and then we're going to mix up our texture paste or fiber paste, I guess. You could use it. So just know that it doesn't matter if you have a texture paste that you like, and it can be mixed with color without changing the color of your paint, then use that. So I just grabbed something that was in my cart that I knew I could use. So I'm going to go here like this. And we're going to put this on here. All right, and we're going to do this. You could glaze it at this point. You could just add a little bit of metallic. So many options, right? All right, let me just wipe up my sticky hands, and we'll go on to the next. Yes, Sandy, I love my crock pot. I love it, love it, love it. So, okay. My mother-in-law actually taught me how to make, this was like so many years ago, but, I really got into it. She, taught me, shared her recipe for how she makes her roast. And then I tried it in the crock pot, and it turned out really good. And so I was like, okay, that's great. So make that, and soup, stews, like all kinds of things in there. So, okay. So we're going to let this sit here and dry a minute. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and mix up our fiber paste. So I'm going to put a couple of colors on this. This is just a little palette pad to see which I like better. That needs to be shaken up a little bit. So this is just a Deco Art worn penny. And I guess we could do both for a little bit of variation. and see if we like that. So this is just, all right, so that's really pretty, and that's kind of a copperish color. This one's really bright. So this is the Liquitex Basics in copper, and see how that's, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I think I'm just going to work with both of them. And then I'm just going to get some fiber paste and a palette knife, and I'm just going to mix some of this in there. Oops, I'll need a clean one for this. Stick my finger in there. I have to think about it because I go for one thing and then, all right, so let's get this in here. So it's just going to create some texture, but you can see that if you just work with it a little bit, it's going to blend right in with the paint, and it just gives the paint a whole lot of body. And what I like about this too is it's not too gritty. Like some of the texture pastes can become very, very gritty. And I like that this is just a little softer. Nothing wrong with gritty. Sometimes gritty is good, but I really, really, really like this. So before we get started on the pumpkin, I'm going to go ahead and use this to paint out the stem. And I'm just going to use the fiber paste as the base coat. And then my final coat will be some copper over that. And it'll just give it just a little texture. So I'll just get a coat of this on real quick and let that dry. And then I'll just do full strength paint. So for this, I can just, it's kind of sticky. It's a little sticky, but I can just use my palette knife and scrape it on, or I've got a stubborn spot right there, or I can use my brush and brush it on. But when I brush it on, it's like there's just too much control because of the brush, unless I'm just kind of patting it. So I really like the effect of just scraping it with the palette knife. It's going to be thicker in some areas than others, and I prefer that. Let me know what you prefer. I feel like if I'm going to do that, then it just feels too painted. But I like the yummy texture that this gives. I'm not going over the whole thing. I'm just, doing a little bit in here. And it's just going to give it a little bit of a raised texture. You could use salt wash. Some people use, cornstarch or something like that in their paint to give it a little texture. So you could try that. Okay. All those things that you could do, right? All right, I'm going to come up here and just kind of like, he looks a little fun. So I'm just, getting that texture on. And again, I was able to fill in the little tiny white spots without using more decoupage tissue on this. Okay. And so I'm going to dry this up, and then we're going to dry brush some more of the metallic paint on, just to add even more. So I want to give you, don't be scared, but so now we have this texture, and when it dries, it'll be a little bit more metallic, but he's just got some interest to him. So let me plug this guy in. And you want to be careful when you're working with the plastic pumpkins and your heat tool, because, well, it's plastic. And so we don't want it to melt. So I'm going to kind of set this in there, get myself together here. and then we'll go ahead. So I'm done with that fiber paste, and then we'll just do some. All right, so I'm just going to keep this moving, kind of twist him around. Actually, I think I'm going to stick I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to put a paintbrush in on top of him, and that way I can just keep it twirling around. If I hold it in place, one place too long, I'm afraid that it'll start to melt. Okay, but look at all that pretty color. I just love that. I'm going to just keep this moving. Whoops. All right, so I've got it up on my paintbrush. I love how pretty that is. Let me do that. How are you guys doing? Are we okay? I so wish that the voice worked both ways on these things. It would be so fun for you to be able to chat back with me by voice instead of typing, but I'm sure someday that that's going to be really possible without having to use Zoom or something like that, but we'll see. So let me see how we're doing with this. All right, let's see what we've got. All right, it's getting there. It needs just a little bit more. So I've got that brush in there. Just turning it, turning it, turning it. If only things didn't take so long to dry, we would get so much more creative, right? A little sticky. It's a little sticky. I'm going to set this aside, I think, right here for right now. And I'm going to keep this this worked out really well. So to hold that. So let's see. This is pretty dry. So since I've used my, I mixed the two and used the fiber paste, I do want to introduce a little bit more vibrant color. Again, it just adds another layer and some contrast. So yes, it would be awesome. I would love that so much. And yes, Sandy, I love the paper too. It's the copper paper. And so, all right. So I want to introduce, I'm going to go ahead and go with this brighter color. And I like it because it's going to add just even another little metallic layer. So this one's pretty dry, and I'm just going to brush this on with this second coat, allowing some of that, the brown, and it is a full coat, but it's not that, like, you can't see. I'm not trying to soak it, I guess. Now, so we have this pretty little stem that's going to look great with that. And that's a nice little vibrant color. So here it is still a little sticky, you guys, but we're going to go for it. So I'm just going to, with just a very little amount of paint, I'm going to brush even more metallic on here. Just a little bit. Make sure I've gotten in all the areas. And it's just giving it a little more shimmer. Go on the bottom and dry brush. So if I hold this up, I don't know if you can see in the light, but now we've got all of this shimmer and we have texture and the blues coming through. And that's really fun. I'm hoping you can see that shimmer in there. I'm going to go right here where I've got I pulled up a little bit. So I'm going to get a tiny little brush and I'll just paint that in, tap that in with my paper here. Okay. And any little white spots where I may have missed with the texture, I'm just going to fill in with this. I have some patina powders that could be really pretty on these, but I don't have them close by. It's always when you're creating something that you think, oh, I could, do this and this and this. And even though this is going to be covered, I'm going to just fill in that white underneath where the stem's going to go. So I'm just touching up any tiny little areas with a little bit of that metallic paint. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a quick little dry again. I wasted so much paint, but I'll probably make some more pumpkins when we're done, and then I can use it up. I'm so glad you like it, Sandy. I'm so glad. I hope you'll try something like this. Just adding a little texture and some, some metallic is really fun. All right, so let's just dry this up even a little bit more, and then we're going to give it the glass effect. So that's where I really think it just really pops. Is by using that. You could use a glaze. I mean, I just think the possibilities are endless. And these types of little projects are so much fun to experiment with different techniques on. I really love that. And the paper does so much of the decoupage tissue does so much of the work for you because the design is already built in, right? Okay, so let me just wipe up my hands again. Okay. And I've got the decoupage medium all over my fingers and it's peeling up. So, and that's kind of sticky. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside a little bit. And now what I want to do is I want to apply diamond glaze. So diamond glaze is a dimensional adhesive that gives a glass-like effect to your project. So you can get an under glass type look. So it's super shiny, but it is durable. Some people use it on projects where they would typically use a resin, but they don't. I will say that one of the challenges with working with this is that there is a tendency to get a lot of bubbles. So if you're just, pouring it in. So that's something that can be a little challenging. It's not anything that can't be worked around, but it is a challenge. But the diamond glaze is both an adhesive and it's also a finish, and it gives a little bit of dimension to your projects. And so this is one of my favorite things to use. I've also will use a glass or a gloss varnish that works as well, but this is super thick and so it works really quick. My hands are so sticky. I should have worn gloves. So I'm going to put a little bit out here on my mat and you'll see, and again, this is pretty sticky. What I love about this is it's going to give it just a super amount of shine. I'm not going to overwork it, but I'm going to show you. So here's where the diamond glaze is, and it's going to dry to that gloss. So you just get this beautiful like glass-like finish. So it gives these pumpkins not only all of this metallic and texture, but also as if they were made of glass instead of plastic. I'll do the bottom later because this is going to need to dry. So I used the diamond glaze for, I checked to see if that was on Prime and it wasn't. Maybe it is today. I haven't been on there today. But it wasn't. But I really love working with it. Shannon knows that about me for sure. She knows. I'm always like getting out my diamond glaze. And then I did order another product that I'm excited to see, to play with and work, to see if it would be another option for something like this. Okay, so see, we're just getting that, and that's what it's going to look like tomorrow, is this glass-like finish. And I will do the stem as well. Oh, I went on the bottom of that. That's okay. I'll stick it on the on this palette paper and it'll be okay. Get a little bit more. And I could dry this. I'll let this dry since I'm not pouring it. But I think you can definitely get the gist of it. So it's just got this really pretty, like, glass-like effect and all of those beautiful colors in there from the paper. So Sandy, you can get it at your local, wherever, if you have a local store that you like to go to, like that sells craft supplies, most of them have it there. And also, of course, you know, Amazon also has it. So it's, I'll just show you. You could type in diamond glaze, but if you type in Judikins, Judi, and then capital Kins, that's how you'll get the exact one, because they may have a different packaging now. So just know it's Judikins diamond glaze, dimensional adhesive. So anyway, I'm glad you like it too, Shannon. So that's that part. And then when we do the little stem, I'm excited to show you guys this tomorrow. I'm going to do the little glass stem too, because why not, right? And just to give that a little shine. But just the prettiest, it's just the prettiest little effect. And so I'm going to go ahead. I'll do that. I'll go ahead. Let me lift this out. We'll pop him in. I don't know, you guys. I don't want to mess him up too much. So I'm going to have to wait. Okay, or I'm going to mess it up. But I'll show you the finished project. So we'll just take one more look at our little glass copper pumpkin. And I'll try to get close-ups of the texture so that you can see that a little bit better. But I think you can see the difference between you're very welcome, Sandy. You can see the difference where we've got the texture where we mix the two colors. And then like right here, you can see where we've got that little contrast of like a little bit of a more vibrant copper. So I think they're pretty easy, don't you? I think they're really easy and really rewarding to do. And yeah, so yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if my camera's acting up or not, but it looks like we have a little bit of a delay. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I think the next, I'll be sure to share that with you when it comes out. I'll be back on again. I'll be back on again. When am I going to be on again? Oh, Tuesday. Wednesday next week. So we'll be back to do that for another live. And anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate your being here. Wherever you are, I hope you're well. If you are watching this on replay, or if I missed a question while we were live, I'm so sorry. Please leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to answer as soon as I can. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week, and happy creating. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.